Hello Summit, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching us how to cut this classic blouse. It's a cut together shoulder blouse. So if this is something like, please stay tuned as I show you the step-by-step process. So next up, this is what the finished look looks like. You can see what we have here. This is what this one looks like on me. So now let's get right into drafting of the pattern. So now let's get into the business of today. So we are going to be drafting the back pattern first, just as you can see. So now I'm going to mark the bust point, then the waist, the shoulder to waist, then the blouse length. So the blouse length depends on you. So the length I am working with is 22 inches. So your length can be 20 inches, can be 19, can be 18, can be 24. It just depends on how long you want it to be or how short you want it to be. So I've gone ahead to roll a straight line across, just as you can see. You can see what I have. So I've gone ahead to label the pattern. So next up is to place your shoulder measurement. Half of your shoulder measurement, you place it on the shoulder line. Then from your shoulder end, the sleeve length, how long you want that sleeve length to be, you determine it. In this case, I use 8 inches. So the neck width I am working with is 3 inches and the neck depth is 1.5 inches, just as you can see. So at that point, I marked 1.5 inches for shoulder slope. So all you have to do now is connect the neck part. Then go ahead from that your shoulder, you do your shoulder slope. You can see what I have there. You mark your shoulder slope. So I'm going to use a marker to make that part visible. Next up, I'm going to be placing quarter of your bust measurement plus ease allowance. So the ease allowance I'm using is 1 inch. Quarter of your bust measurement plus ease allowance. Then quarter of your waist measurement plus ease allowance. Then quarter of your hip measurement plus ease allowance. So you impute it. So the ease you want for the cloth depends on you. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the points together, just as you can see. So I'm going to be using the marker to make the lines visible. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark what I have. So I'm going to use my marker to highlight the line so that you can see what we have. So just going to highlight this place as well. So I'm just going to be making sure that what I have for the hip measurements is correct. So then I added extra 1 inch around the side, around the bust points, the waistline and the hip line. So that 1 inch I added extra is for the sewing allowance. Do you understand? So 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance. Do you guys understand that? So that's why I labeled it. So next up, you determine the length of your sleeve. So in this case, I have about 8 inches or 9 inches. Then you can add extra 1 inch to it. So by the time you are joining it, so it will be easy, you can add extra 1 inch to it. So then I'm going to roll a straight line, just as you can see. So you can leave it straight like this, but if you want it to have a little bit of curve effect, then you can go in by that part by 1 inch or 0.75. Then you connect it this way. So now you are going to be connecting it into the bodice. So you can mark about 1.5 inches. You can see the way I'm connecting it this way. So you can mark about 1.5 inches below this bust point line. That part you can see. So I noted 1.5 inches down or 2 inches. Depends on what you want. Just note it down. So at the bottom of the blouse, I had about extra 2 inches left. So I'm just going to be curving it, like just blending it. I don't want the back to be straight, so that's why I have extra 2 inches, so that it will give you this fine effect at the back. So you just blend it in, just as you can see. So now we'll move over to the front pattern. So this is the so for the front, you mark your 1 inch for button stand first. You mark your 1 inch for button stand. So after that, you mark your shoulder line, your bust point line, your waistline, and the blouse length. So the blouse length you're using for the front, for the back is what you're using for the back. So whatever length you use for the back, you're going to use for the front. Do you understand? So the extension, we are going to determine it later on. So later, so then I imputed half of the shoulder measurement after the button stand line. Then the sleeve length that I use for the back, I marked the same thing for the front. Do you guys understand? So on the bust point line, you mark quarter of your bust measurement plus seam plus ease, then quarter of your waist measurement plus 1 inch ease, then quarter of your hip measurement plus 1 inch ease. That's for ease around the body. So then I went ahead and connected the points together, just as you can see. So next up, I'm adding 1 inch around for sewing allowance. So then I'm just going to go ahead and connect the points, just as you can see. Then I'm going to label that part sewing allowance. So I already added the sewing allowance to the drafted pattern, just as you can see. So then I'm marking 1.5 inches for shoulder slope at that point. It's just like the same thing I did for the front. You connect it to the shoulder ending, your half of your shoulder ending. Then the sleeve length, whatever I use for the back, you use for the front. You guys understand? Then you connect, you rule a straight line. You can leave this thing straight, but if you are going to blade it in, you come in by 1 inch or 0.75, then you connect it this way, just as you can see. So remember for the back, I came down by 1.5 inches so that it can be equal. So then I'm going to go ahead and connect it this way. So this way, at this point, the pattern are going to be equal. So for the extension of the blouse, after the blouse length, I have about 6 inches. So the length you want to use can it depends on your choice. So there I came inward by 2 inches after the button stand line. So I'm going to be connecting it to the waistline. But in this case, I don't want mine to be connected to the waistline. So yours can be directly on the waistline. But I came down from the waistline by 1.5 inches. Do you see? Then I'm just going to extend the line to that button stand line. So I'm going to connect it from that button stand line to that point. You can see what I have. I'll connect it to that point. You can see what I have. Then I'm going to be connecting it to the side this way to our blouse length. You can see what I have by this side. This is what we have. So next up, we'll move to the neckline area. So now the neck width we are working with is 3 inches, same as the back. The neck width is 3 inches. So the length of the neck, I marked about 9 inches. So you can see what I have. I marked about 9 inches. So I'm going to be connecting into that button stand line. You can see where I'm marking it. I'm just going to make this visible. So this is where it is going to be, just as you can see. So now we've altered this neckline. So in order for you not to gape, I'm just going to rule a straight line like this. It's not straight, it's slanted line. Then I'm going to make at this point like 0.25 on both sides, or it could be 0.25 for both sides. So reason is because I'm going to be eliminating that part so that that's eliminating like excess around that neckline so that it doesn't gape. So that's the reason for that part that I just did. That is the actual reason for it. So now we are going to go ahead and cut our front pattern. So if you've not liked this video at this point, please kindly do so, and don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, comment, like and share. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out, just as you can see. So now I'm going to be opening this up at the bottom. You can see what I have. Then I'm going to be closing it up on the second line, on the third line. You know, there's about 3 lines that are there. Then you use your paper tape to hold it. Then you're going to reshape the lines so that it's going to be equal. So by the time you wear this outfit, it won't gape. It won't look as if it's gaping. Do you get? So that's the reason for that. So now we're going to go ahead and cut out the back pattern, just as you can see. So you see what I'm doing. So you just go ahead and cut off the excess paper that you have. So this is what we have. So I've gone ahead to label the pattern. So by the time I place them together, everything looks good. The sides and everywhere, the whole align together, just as you can see. So next up now, we are going to be moving on to the sewing tutorial. So we're going to move on to the sewing tutorial. So it's not that difficult. Just pay attention and you will get it. So I had this fabric in the house. So it's crepe. So it's about 1 yard. Then this one I have is the doll face. So this doll face, I'm going to be using it for the facing. But you should have about 2 yards of fabric for yourself. 2 yards of fabric for yourself. Do you get? So I just have 1 yard of crepe and I have a doll face that I'll be using for the facing. So just make sure that you have to. Okay, so for the front piece, this is what we have. So I added 0.5 inches all around, just as you can see, 0.5 inches all around it. So I added 0.5 inches, but you know that by the side you already added the sewing allowance, so there's no need for that. So now this is the facing. So this is the door face. I cut the door face for the facing. That's what I have. So the width of this facing is 3.5 inches all around. 3.5 inches for the facing. Do you guys understand? So if you have a weaving machine, you can use your weaving machine to just hold the fabric down so that it doesn't frill. You can weave the lacing so that it doesn't frill. So now this is the back piece. So I added 0.5 inches all around as well. But by the side, we already added the sewing allowance to the drafted pattern. So I also have facing for the neckline area. The width of the facing is 3.5 inches. So for the bottom too, I have a facing. So the width of it is 3.5 inches as well. Just as you can see, 3.5 inches as well. So if you have a weaving machine, you can just weave the lacing, you can just weave it all around. Do you guys understand? So that it doesn't frill. So I'm just going to take the pins off and all. So in a case where you don't have weaving machine, you can just fold the tip this way, like this, and just sew on it. Just sew it straight by 0.25, just so that you hold it down so that it doesn't frill. Then you can use your hem gum to gum it. Do you get? So now I'm taking off the front pattern paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to like arrange our fabrics and the facing together so that we can start sewing. Then I show you what and what to do. So now for the back piece, so we are starting with the back. So this is the right side of the back. So when you get your facing, you can see what I have. Like what I said, I already stitched that part at the top so that it will be easy for me since I don't have a weaving machine. Then you use your pins to hold it down. So you are going to sew around the bottom by 0.5 inches. Then make sure you top stitch. So for the neckline area too, you can see the way I'm placing it. So you're just going to use your pin to hold it. So you are going to sew around the neckline by 0.5 inches. You're going to by 0.5 inches. Then you also top stitch. You top stitch. So the same thing for the front as well. So you are going to use your pin to hold it down. So it's going to be wrong side facing wrong side. So by the time you turn it in, yeah, it's going the facing is going to be on the wrong side. So then you just go ahead. You can see what I'm doing. You use your pin to hold it down, then you're going to sew by 0.5 inches. So you repeat the same method for the second side. So this is what we have after sewing it. You can see what we have. So now at this point you can use your hem gum to hold it in place, to hold the facing in place. Do you understand? So this is what the other side of the front, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. So now I'm going to show you what the back looks like. So by the time we are done stitching the back, so this is what it looks like. So your hem gum is actually important in sewing something like this, in sewing something that you're not using a full lining for. So now we are going to be joining the shoulder of the front and the back. So I've placed the back pattern, the back panel. So yeah, I'm placing the front panel on both sides. We are going to be joining the shoulder. So first of it is that you join the shoulder, you run a 0.5 stitch straight, or you use your facing for the back to cover the front, just like you see me do. You use it to overlap it, then you sew. So you repeat the same process for the second side. Then you also sew the sleeve area by whatever seam allowance that you imputed. So for the rope, you can determine the width. The width can unfold. I used about 3.025 unfold. Then I sewed it straight by 0.25. But the length of this rope is 33 inches. It can be 30 inches. So it's 33 inches I use for the rope. Okay, so this is what we have after folding the shoulder. So now I'm going to be inserting the rope around the waistline. So you fix the rope around the waistline, then just as you can see, then just make sure that you arrange your front and back panel. You arrange it very well, just as you see me do, because you are going to go ahead and sew all around from the sleeve area by 1 inch to the side. So you do the same thing for the other side as well. You sew by 1 inches all around. That's the sewing allowance that you imputed. So after sewing, this is what I have. So I've used Amy gum to hold all those facing in place. So after sewing, this is what I have. So next thing is to do your button hole, then you fix in your button. So like I said, you can see that this style is very simple and it's easy to wear as well. So this is what we have after we are done sewing it. So next up is to put on this clothes and show you what the final look looks like. So this here I already put it on. This is what it looks like without sewing it, without tying the rope. So by the time you tie the rope, this is what it looks like. This is how fitted it is. You can see what I have. So you can see. So guys, thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video, and don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, comment, like and share.